Donald Trump's health is obviously being covered up by his White House, and it's not just taking the form of objects to block his cankles in photos or goop covering the bruises on his hands. The White House is just simply lying to us about Donald Trump's recent diagnoses, his hospital visits, anything having to do with his medical health. But there's someone who's sharing details that we don't even really want about Donald Trump's medical situation, to put it best, and that is his son, Don Jr., who just made an incredibly disturbing post, which is clearly a lie, but it's sparking a conversation around Donald Trump's health that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into what Don Jr. posted about his father and his appendages, I want to start with Don Jr.'s own corruption, what he's hiding within this criminal White House, and that was broken down by Senator Chris Murphy right here.
This is a video I did just a few months ago about a little-known Florida drone company called Unusual Machines. Specifically, Donald Trump Jr. just went on the advisory board of a very small drone company called Unusual Machines based out of Florida. And as soon as he went on the board, guess what happened? The stock price of this company doubled, like overnight. Because, you know, in this environment, in this White House, everybody knows when the fix is about to be in. And guess what this little Florida company just announced? They are getting a huge contract from the Department of Defense. So Donald Trump Jr. goes on this board, he has a $4 million investment, and then months later, they get this enormous contract from the federal government. It's for drone motors. Apparently, they just started making drone motors like 5 minutes ago. The corruption is just so bold and brazen. It used to be that people who were on the take would try to hide it. The Trump family doesn't even try to hide it any longer. They're just literally robbing from you. And it's your money, and this is taxpayer dollars. Last week, Donald Trump says that he's going to make the Department of Justice pay him hundreds of millions of dollars for grievances that he made up about how he was treated by the Department of Justice before he became president. Now Donald Trump Jr. is just awarding himself, we don't even know how much money yet, probably millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, for a company that he just went on the board of. This is outrageous. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you should be outraged by this, because once you are able, as President of the United States, to just steal from taxpayers, like every day, that's a genie that you don't get to put back in the bottle.
The corruption truly couldn't be more blatant. It is pay to play in this administration. They are really, at this point, happy to tell us, and it's funny, although it's not, that is usually what these people lean on as their excuse for the corruption, as they say, well, we've been so open about it, like telling us that you're stealing from the American people, that you're enriching yourselves through the office of the president. Makes it any better? Newsflash, it does not. But Donald Trump is going to continue to laugh in our face as he gets himself even shit richer than he already is. By the way, the money he made in his life was off of scamming. And he did that tonight as it related to Don Jr. before we get into Don talking about his health. Trump, 79, admits he has no idea who the billionaire he pardoned is. Trump last month pardoned CZ, who pled guilty to money laundering violations that allowed criminal groups to move money connected to drug trafficking and child abuse. The pardon came just months after Binance, a crypto exchange, struck a $2 billion deal in partnership with the Trump family's crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. During Trump's interview on 60 Minutes on Sunday, Norah O'Donnell asked the 79-year-old president why he had granted clemency to CZ. Okay, are you ready? I don't know who he is, Trump 79 replied. I know he got a 4-month sentence or something like that, and I heard it was a Biden witch hunt. So, a man who dumped billions and propped up a Trump family venture run by his sons is pardoned, and Trump has no idea what's going on? I'm going to go ahead and say I don't buy that. Or maybe I kind of do, because Donald Trump is so out of it. And his health, of course, has been a conversation, certainly on this show, but also by his son, Don Jr., who had this to say about bits of his father's body. Don Jr. bizarrely gloats about dad's anatomy. Don Jr. weighed in on the uproar over the White House ballroom by sharing a wild post on his father's anatomy. Don Jr. has gloated about his father's family jewels in a truly bizarre social media post. Donald Trump's 47-year-old son weighed in on the uproar over his father's $300 million ballroom vanity project Saturday by sharing a wild post on his Instagram story. The real Trump ballroom is the room he gives his balls in comparison to the leg-crossing P words like Newsom and Obama, reads the X post by comedian Adam Carolla. Carolla paired his anatomical commentary with a photo of a tired-looking Trump seated with his knees apart alongside images of former President Barack Obama and California Governor Gavin Newsom sitting with their legs crossed. Don Jr. has become one of his father's top social media cheerleaders, churning out a barrage of memes and posts hyping up the 79-year-old president. And while the commentary on Trump's nether region could be his most awkward hype man moment so far, it's not the first time he's raised eyebrows for his social media antics. The father of five posted a partially AI-generated image of Trump hurling a green dildo onto a basketball court of WNBA players on the roof of the White House in August. He was also apparently referencing a series of incidents in which those objects were thrown at WNBA players. Before that, Don Jr. posted an AI-generated image of Trump in an all-denim outfit, a nod to Sydney Sweeney's controversial American Eagle campaign, alongside a cringe-inducing caption. This is the photo, and it's disgusting, and I'm sorry you even had to see it. So Don Jr., right now, wow, I cannot believe we're even talking about this. Well, his father is barely able to walk downstairs while he slurs all his words. Well, he misremembers everything. His face droopy all the time, his hands bruised, his cankles fat and swollen. Doctors saying that he probably had a stroke. Of course, there's being MRIs taken of Donald Trump, other medical tests at the White House is hiding from us. Don Jr. is bragging about his father's parts. That's what we're doing right now. It's just like, ugh. And if you think Trump is so tough and so strong, why are all of the images that MAGA shares to prove that point always AI or fake or edited? Why is it never like an actual photo of Donald Trump running? Joe Biden was always on his bike. Barack Obama is moving and shaking, like playing basketball because he was a normal person who was in shape and not consuming, several pounds of Big Mac a day. But no, Don Jr. has taken to posting because that's what Don Jr. is going to do. And there has been a lot of posting lately from the right, of course, most of it racist and bigoted, raising eyebrows, as it should, people wearing literal blackface for Halloween, saying that they're going as people who need EBT dollars, mocking SNAP recipients, playing on racist tropes, and yet the right says that that's fine. And I have a bit of a rant to go on as it relates to Don Jr. and Erica Kirk, so stick around for that. But it starts with what Don Jr. posted right here. Years ago, after the attack on Paul Pelosi, Don Jr., talking about Halloween, wrote, "Got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume ready." Now, of course, it was just the other day, Halloween. We still have a friend hanging out, and I got him a tie because I thought he should look snazzy. If one person is going to dress up on the show, it's going to be my skeleton. But there were lots of people who went as Charlie Kirk, not in a praising way. They went as Charlie Kirk with like blood spattered all over their T-shirt and stuff like that. And the right lost their mind. As you'd expect, the right was crying, "Oh my God, oh, they're the left. Oh no, the left." The comedy is legal people were really upset about the mocking of Charlie Kirk because, of course, he's a saint, the man who attacked black women for a living and said that people of color couldn't fly planes. That was the true champion of what America is all about. It was Charlie Kirk, but they just couldn't take it. Again, the people doing blackface were upset about the Charlie Kirk jokes. Don Jr., who was literally laughing about political violence, has now decided it's the worst thing that has ever happened. It's the scourge of the earth. It must be eliminated. Of course, not when he laughs at it, but when the left does, because it's always the left. But there's another conversation happening kind of on top of all of this, and it's not around Halloween costumes. It's not even directly Charlie Kirk. It's about his widow, in fact. It's about Erica Kirk. And there's been a lot of conversation online about Erica Kirk. And someone who I really like, friend of the show, pseudo-colleague Tim Miller, responded to someone who posted an AI-generated image. You might have seen this of Erica Kirk. It was like a Halloween costume, and it was like grifting widow, and it was her crying with a bag of cash. And Tim said, you shouldn't do this. She's grieving. This sucks. This is stupid. And I usually agree with Tim on a lot of stuff, but I'm sorry, Erica Kirk isn't a widow to me. Erica Kirk is a grifter. If Erica Kirk was grieving, and if Erica Kirk said, I'm going to need my time away from the public, I don't want to be in the spotlight, I want to think about, next steps for my kids, I think that, she is a gross person. She married Charlie Kirk, so that doesn't really give you a good check mark next to the values box. But she's decided against that. She had a pyrotechnics funeral. I think it might have been. I don't even know if it was. I think it was like a hate rally. I think it was a Nazi rally. She is like hugging up with J.D. Vance and Jesse Waters. She's sending out fundraising emails. She said that we have to get them, and they got Charlie after he was killed. So not a ton of sympathy there. And I don't think I have to be sympathetic. And I don't think you have to be sympathetic. That's what I was saying on day one after Charlie Kirk, is that they're going to demand your sympathy. They're going to demand that you pretend that this was the fault of the left, of our rhetoric. Ooh, the rhetoric. It wasn't. Don't buy into that. Seriously. You don't have to. This is not your fault. They will not actually change or care or respect you. This is just a game that they're playing. It is. They will use any opportunity to exploit actual tragedy. Let's talk about what's happening right now in New York City. The Islamophobia being weaponized against Zohran Mamdani by Andrew Cuomo, the disgusting sex pest that he is, the corrupt, disgraced former governor that he is. You think these people care about tragedy? No. They just want to use it to benefit themselves. All I'm seeing are these disgusting Republicans and even some Democrats. There are some. We heard Kirsten Gillibrand, the senator, make an Islamophobic remark about Zohran Mamdani. But you're seeing all these people use images, not images, but like make memes about 9/11 and say that that's what Zohran represents. The smiley guy who wants to make your buses free and fast, who wants you to be able to afford childcare and rent. They say you should be scared of him because he's brown, because he may look different than you. He may pray differently than you. So, yeah, I'm going to laugh at the Erica Kirk memes. I don't know if I'll make them myself because I just really, truly don't give a shit about her enough to. But there's going to be a lot of people on Twitter who tell you to feel bad about a lot of these things. I just got to tell you, don't buy into it. Don't let them try to con you into caring. It's a fake care. They're weaponizing it. Don Jr. doesn't care. Trump doesn't care. He was talking about his ballroom, for God's sakes, right after, moments after. These people are grifters. That is what they are above anything else. They are grifters. They are in it for the cash. Do not take them seriously, even for a second. I promise you, you will regret it. And that is my Erica Kirk rant. That is my Don Jr. rant. And that is the video. I appreciate you sticking around through the end if you did. If you did, you can support the show by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like, and dropping a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.